Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. And I'm here with Linda. And Linda, you know some of the things you've heard people asking me when we're traveling around the area. And what do you think we should talk about today?
Well, one of the topics that I hear mentioned frequently is the topic of bugs. And I don't know if you use them specifically for bait, but when we go to various places,
I'm not talking about bugs for bait. I'm talking about the bugs that bite us.
Oh, well, I was thinking, when we look at bodies of water, if we happen to be traveling and we're going to a place where you're going to fish, in the evening, it seems as though bugs begin to accumulate in clusters around the water. And that seems to be one of the times that fish like to bite, that the bite is on, so to speak.
Yeah, they're an indication. And, of course, they're a big part of the fish's diet.
Yes.
But so are we. We're a big part of the bug's
diet.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. One of the things this time of the year, the bugs at your favorite place to fish sometimes are extreme, and it's hard to enjoy fishing if they're constantly swarming around you and biting you. And some of the things that I've discovered lately, I just saw a study where they said that if you eat bananas every day, now bananas are really rich in potassium. I'm not talking about not eating bananas, but they claim that it will increase your desirability to mosquitoes tremendously.
I didn't know that.
And you get far more bitten. Yes, it's important. We have to realize that what we eat determines an awful lot about us. It may determine our very health, but it also determines how healthy we are for all these pests. There's certain things I imagine that if you eat a lot of garlic, that may keep the bugs away.
I was going to suggest that.
Yeah, that may be a real thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that there's more studies about what we can do about ticks, because they're every place around us, and they carry such terrible diseases. And we've talked about this so much, but I think the most important thing that we can be aware of is there's going to be ticks along those river areas where we go.
That's a good point.
And so it's important you wear the right type of clothing that keeps them from getting on your body. And number one hint, I would say, is you should be wearing long pants and tuck those pants into the socks that you wear. Have your socks on the outside. It'll make it harder for those ticks to crawl in and get on your skin.
That's a good suggestion.
And another thing is when you get home, you get in the shower or whatever, make sure that you don't have any ticks crawling on your body.
Yeah.
Usually you have a time, 2 or 3 days, I think, before those ticks will start to bite you if they do invade your body like they do.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I don't think repellents are that effective with ticks because they're drawn to the carbon dioxide. That's what you give off that they're attracted to. But, it doesn't hurt to spray insecticide on your clothing and on your exposed skin, like your neck and your face and your hands and so forth. The government recommends that the type of insecticide that you use, it contains DEET, and of course that's a poison, but that does poison the bugs too. They don't want anything to do with that. I'm not telling people to use DEET. You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
But
just a thorough check.
Yes.
When anglers come back off the water.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't think the black flies have been quite as bad this year because of certain climate differences this year with our spring. We've had cold times, and they don't thrive in the cold, the black flies. And I think maybe they're winding down now, but we have horse flies and mosquitoes and all that we have to contend with. And that's a part of what we need to be aware of when we go fishing. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner and Linda McQuinn with the North Country Fishing Report.